Hey there, winos. This is Vince.WINE. Today I'm really excited to be able to share with you winos Winewizard. This is a wine aerator that's sort of in its pre-release stage. I'm really excited to pop this bad boy open and see what's the magic behind Winewizard. So what's the big deal about aerating your wine? Why would you want to do that? Well, one, a bottle that's been closed up for a while seals in the ethanol or alcohol and gives it some of that alcohol or ethanol nose, which can be a little harsh. You ever pour your first glass and go, ooh, that smells kind of strong. Oxygenating the wine or adding oxygen into it or aerating the wine helps to get rid of those ethanol and alcohol harshness aromas on the nose of your wine. Second, wine does contain sulfites. Now, sulfites are just a preservative and an antioxidant, so they're fairly harmless, but they can mask oak and fruit and earth aromas that can be found in the wine. It takes a little bit for the sulfur to blow off, so an aerator helps tremendously with that process. And three, wine compounds like tannins are super strong at first. An aerator can help to soften those tannins to be a little bit more gentle and make the wine much more palatable and ready to enjoy right away. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get an unboxing here. All right, so let's get a look at this container here. This is really, really pretty. It actually reminds me of something that a whiskey bottle would come in. It is all black or like this sort of nice dark charcoal gray Winewizard, one word. The wine, it was born to be, and it says you get 80 bottles out of this, easy to use, aerate in seconds. So we get 80, I guess, squirts of aeration from this canister, and here at the top, proven to enhance taste, aroma, and finish. And I almost thought that my container was stained, but that's actually part of the design. It's really cool, these little sort of water droplets on here. And on the back, it does talk a little bit about how this works, smart micro-oxygenation technology, and it talks a lot about the sort of gases that it uses. And here are the directions. So I have never used this on my own before, and I'm really excited to see how it works. Let's go ahead and pop that open. So I'll just twist off the top, and yeah, that came off really easy. And inside, the first thing that I'm seeing there is this nice little black velvet case, and ooh, I can see the product in there is really nice. Oh, that's kind of cool. It has a nice little mark on there that's pretty cool. It does feel like a super quality bag. By the way, this thing is extremely light. It just feels almost like an empty plastic bottle is in here. It's really light. It's not weighty at all. Let's just see what they gave us in here. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this is not complicated. We'll see. I'm not sure where this goes. Yeah, I'll put that aside for right now, and check that out just as I get this open. What a really, really quality look it has there. It has a very luxury look with this sort of chromy looking device on top, and then here it is as I pull that out. Winewizard, and it is this black, feels a little plasticky, maybe tinny tube here, and then this chrome piece on top. And the chrome piece, this whole thing, again, it's super, super light. So I feel like if I drop it, I might break it, so don't drop it. But it is really beautiful. I could see this on a stand in my kitchen, just looking really nice and elegant. It doesn't look cheap or anything like that. It looks like it's supposed to be much heavier than it is. And then some of the same wording from the case is on part of the bottle here, and this is the spray thing. So I need to see, how do I use this? So inside there is a little sheet here, and let's just see what this is about. Okay, so they give you user guidelines, red wine, white wine, wine type, and this is the most important part here is the directions. So I want to take a look at that real quick. So step one, it says insert the tube into the trigger. So I'm going to use this one. They give us two of them. I'm thinking this one is for a decanter. So you put this in your glass decanter, and this one, it actually recommends in the glass. So you pour yourself a glass and decant directly into your glass. All right, so I'm just going to take this little guy here. It says to put it into the nozzle, so I'm assuming this is the nozzle. Yeah, it looks like it wants to go in there. I don't know how far it goes. Yep, let's just, that seems, all right. Ta-da! All right, so step one accomplished. Now, I don't know if you can see that it has a little open sign right there, that little arrow with the open. I don't know how well that shows. And so the next thing you want to do is take this little catch and move it 90 degrees to the open setting there. So I could feel a little click that tells me that that's probably open now. Okay, so I have 2014 vintage, so it's got a little age, and I happen to know that this producer's wines in particular can benefit from a little aeration. And aged bottles always benefit from aeration because it's been so tight in here for all this time that it's been in bottle. I'll do a test. I will do a glass that is not decanted and a glass that is wine wizarded, and from there we'll see how's it do. So what I'm looking for here is intensity of aroma on the nose. I want to see how big is it right outside of the bottle. Then I want to look for flavor complexity, both on the nose, I guess that's aroma, and flavor on the palate, and then mouthfeel. I want to see how gentle is it or how brackish is it on the palate. Okay, one thing I will say is that this wine is already pretty aromatic. I was going to swirl it. I don't even want to swirl it. I just want to take it as is. I'm getting dark fruits. I would say medium intense aromas of earth here in the form of this dry forest brush, very Santa Cruz Mountains, some blackberry, some plum, a little star anise. It's kind of caramelly, that get caramel coffee or something like that. And then a tertiary sort of leather flavor aroma in there as well. So I'm actually getting a fair amount of complexity out of this already, and it's got a medium intensity, a medium plus maybe. I was able to pull a lot out of there. Okay, let's go ahead and get the palate. So first of all, that's so good. Yeah, but I will say that I can tell that all of those really beautiful fruit and earth flavors are there, but they are a little subdued. I can almost tell already that this wine needs to open up. So I'm really excited for what Winewizard can accomplish with this wine. Okay, here goes nothing. Let's hope I don't end up with a bunch of wine on my face. I'm guessing this is right, and it says 2 seconds. So 1, 2, oh! Okay, that was cool. All right, now it does say that it's going to create about a centimeter of bubbles, and being American, I don't know what a centimeter is, so what's that, like a half inch, maybe? But it does say to allow those bubbles to dissipate, so they will go away. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to swirl this. I'm not going to do anything. Winewizard says 1 to 2 seconds, and that was maybe 1 second, a centimeter of bubbles, and then let the bubbles sort of dissipate. So I'm going to let it do that, but take a look inside this glass here. That is really cool. It definitely did what it said it was going to do. It brought a lot of bubbles to the surface there, and you can see that thick layer of bubbles in there, and they are already sort of dissipating and popping. I'm not sure exactly if it says to wait. Let the wine bubble up to approximately 1 centimeter, then remove the micro diffuser. Wait for the bubbles to subside and enjoy perfectly aerated wine. So you know what? For good measure, I almost feel like I should just give it one more little, because I only did, that wasn't barely a second, so I'm gonna do one more little, just like that. That's all I'm gonna do, and we'll give that a minute to let those bubbles dissipate. But you see how much foam sort of got created there, and then those start to fizzle out of the wine. So let's just give that a minute. I'm watching bubbles go down in a glass of wine. Okay, so at this point, it actually looks like a normal pour of wine, that you do sort of get those bubbles just from that splash into the glass there. So I'm gonna go ahead and, again, without swirling, I'm just gonna take the nose here and see what happens. Oh yeah, so I will say that it's not like bam, right away, difference in the nose. However, the complexity is really, really amazing. Yeah, that's almost night and day. So I think what I was looking for was just that punch of intensity on aroma, that it was just going to be flying out of the glass, and I'll have to say that didn't happen. However, man, what I'm getting from that already very aromatic wine, the aromas in here are so homogenized. They are so well blended. It absolutely increased the complexity of the wine. I can no longer pinpoint so easily the foresty brush and the dark fruit and anise and the earthiness out of there and the leatheriness. It is really well integrated now. I'm going to use the word soft. It almost like softened all of those things and made them like butter just spread out over the aroma of that wine. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Let's get it on the palate and see what the difference is here. That is like silk. Okay, I'm really blown away right now because I think the biggest thing this did was absolutely smoothen and soften out that palate. The mouthfeel is so silky. I almost can't believe it, whereas my first glass, it was a little clunky, a little rugged tannin gripping on me, and now those tannins have just smoothed out so gently, and even the flavors have sort of homogenized. Let me go back to my control. Yeah, so the control wine, I'm definitely able to pinpoint those flavor characteristics that I had originally found. Let's take the mouthfeel one more time. Yeah, wow. So my control wine, even right now, it actually feels drier, and it's so funny, as I was swirling, I accidentally almost coughed because I got a little burn from the alcohol. So without aeration, my control wine seems a little more drier, a little more gritty, and a little bit more heat focused. There's some of that alcohol really strong in there, but my Winewizard wine, gosh, that is just smooth and silky. I know this sounds silly, but it almost seems wetter. It's just juicier. It's not as dry or gripping or cloying or astringent as my control wine. So this definitely helped out. 100% worth it because of the structure. So Winewizard, you do exactly what you said you were going to do, and I would easily want to drink my Winewizarded wine over my control wine. Okay, so who is this for? Well, it's for me. I want it. But who is this for? Why do I want it? This is for your wine drinker who drinks wine regularly and cares about having their wine at its optimal performance right away. If you're somebody who collects a lot of wine or just purchases a lot of wine, maybe you visit a lot of wineries and you have just a miniature little library, or especially if you've got a huge library of wine, you've probably got some wines that have been sitting there waiting for you to drink for the last 4, 6, maybe 10 or more years, and Winewizard is going to make that wine drinkable immediately. Now, if you're the kind of person who only drinks wine on occasion, or you just go to the grocery store, purchase the wine, and you drink it that night, this maybe isn't something that you absolutely need, because most of those wines are probably going to be drinkable right now. Look, this isn't going to turn your $12 bottle of Côte d'Aron into a $50 tasting bottle, right? But your Chateauneuf du Pape that's been sitting there for 10 years is gonna super appreciate Winewizard. Okay, and if you know VINCE.WINE, you know that I also just really love gimmicky stuff. So this is also for the person who just loves to make wine fun. My number one thing is that everybody should just enjoy wine. Don't take it so seriously. It's super fun, and I love gimmicky stuff. And this just looks cool. It's gonna impress your friends, and it's just gonna keep wine being fun for you. And it does exactly what it says it's gonna do. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked what you saw here, please leave me a like. I've got a library of videos that you can go check out on this channel. And until next time, winos, drink safe and drink well. Cheers.